Welcome to Louisville Vintage Motorworks Podcast, taped in front of no one, on location from somewhere. And now, here's Sugar Puss and People. We'll just go ahead and start it here. So,
all right. So
to
recap for Garage Brewed.
Yes, in all honesty, all right. So let's go back. In all honesty, we are not at Garage Brewed right now. Garage Brewed was it was a hoot. We loved it, had a great time, but it was loud, and so the quality
crazy loud. Yeah, the audio quality was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, so we couldn't walk around the show and do like we wanted to. So we took a bunch of photos and we're recapping the show, and we're going to kind of blend this in with some of the actual interviews. We did get a couple of interviews in, so we're going to kind of try to blend it all together, edit it together. But this is our official Garage Brewed segment or show episode recap. All right.
They just quit.
I hope my wife's listening.
Actually, it's more the other way around, to be honest. But.
Yeah.
But the show started out about 7 years ago.
It's 8. This is our 7th show, but we missed a year. Yeah.
Because I feel like we've been coming up for quite a long time. We have more enforced.
2015 was the first show.
Yeah, I had 2 bikes in that show. And
it was a group of us that got together at a bar and said, "What do you guys want to do?" And within that group, we had a photographer, you had a graphic designer, you had a computer webpage guy, and you had an engineer / bean counter who.
Right.
Everything worked. Everybody had their specialty. Bob kept us on track and organized with a spreadsheet for ranking the bikes when we go to pick them. And we came to Ryan. It was one of Ryan Geist's first year, and we packed the place.
Yeah.
They were kind of hesitant. And then they're kind of grumpy when we went up on a motorcycle show. And then after the first year, and we packed the place, we're like, "Hey, are you guys coming back next year? We gonna do this again?"
It's a Ron Geist is like the premier facility for this. I mean, the keg stands and the keg displays just like tie it all together.
Yeah.
So and I can't really do the show or walk through the show without having a beer in my hand. So I feel like it's a little early right now.
No, it's not.
It's not. Maybe not.
For beer, not moonshine.
Our show is what's unique about our show is it's an all volunteer run show. It's not owned by anybody. There's no money that's going in anybody else's pocket. It goes back to promoting the show and to our 2 big charities, Operation Combat Bike Saver, and the Battle Buddy Foundation. Both of them take care of veterans with PTSD in different ways. One is a garage where they teach people how to work on bikes and build things that hang out together, and that helps them heal.
Right.
And then the Battle Buddy Foundation provides service dogs for veterans with PTSD.
Nice.
Breed the dog, feed the dog, pay for the vet bills. It's a no cost to the veteran, and that directly, those dogs save veterans' lives.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Atlas, the Wonder Dog, and he will be here. And Kenny's story is amazing. He was like, I was ready to check out.
Yeah.
And that dog saved his life, and it has done that over and over with these guys. And we feel that that's important for the show. And so we do it for our charities, but we also bring a ton of people together. The volunteers love hanging out. We love seeing them, and then they meet buddies, and there's all different kind of bikes. It's not
right.
It's not all a V-twin show. It's
exactly. That's what we love about this show. It really is a show that is across the entire motorcycle genre. I mean, from near cars to pit bikes.
Right.
I mean, there is literally a pit bike sitting over there. I love it.
There's a twin engine Triumph downstairs.
Right. I mean, drag bikes, trials bikes. I mean,
it's insane. I'd get arrested 18 times a day on something like that.
Yes.
Just swipe the card and here's my money for the day.
Right.
And our judges, who are 5 different people every year.
Right.
Yeah. We tell them when we go in, A, we're not going to tell you much. We want each group of judges to bring their own character to this.
Yeah.
And B, this is not a concourse show.
Right.
Right. We bring bikes in.
enough for that even?
We bring bikes in because they're interesting.
Right.
Yeah, they may be concourse, but that's not the
I want knuckle skin and blood like on all the bikes. You can rub and polish all the bikes, but just leave all the blood, sweat, and tear part. You know. Like, yes, right out of the back of the garage.
You see things that you've never seen before. Like you said, you see the near car, and then you see a guy that got an old CT-70 out of the dumpster somewhere and fixed it up with his son. And you hear those stories like, my son, I taught him how to weld, or other guys that have never done that, and they're like, I want to build a bike. And next thing you know, he bought a welder, and he's learning how to weld. He did carbon fiber. Mike Mitchum, one of our new admins, who built this beautiful Suzuki.
We're talking to him.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, I'm a Suzuki guy.
He's a Suzuki guy.
I'm a Suzuki guy.
He's been eyeballing that.
Yeah.
I'm really eyeballing the Bonneville race machine. The two guys with the near cars with the cannonballs under their belt. Like, that's just, you can't beat those stories. You can't make this stuff up.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's way more to a motorcycle than just, gas and riding.
Well, and what's great is when you talk to motorcycle guys, it's you walk up to them and you talk to them about their bike, and they'll tell you everything you want to know.
Right.
It's not like it's an open invitation to talk to them. And earlier this year, how the Nero cars got here is my wife and I rode up to the Cannonball up in Dayton where they came in, and we went to the pits that night where they worked on the bikes. You figure those 100-year-old bikes, nuts and bolts and everything are falling off of them or whatever.
Right.
So they're wrenching on them every night, this 3,000-mile ride. And I'm talking to them and taking pictures, and I said, oh, we got a motorcycle show in Cincinnati. It's called Garage Brewed. And they're like, oh, we've heard about that. And then they show up with two of them.
Right.
I mean, I've only seen the one in person from back home, Lewis. Lewis Meyer, our favorite blacksmith friend. He has one, and it has great patina, but I've never seen them like painted and brought back to their like original form and their beauty. Like, it's just, that's amazing. We're gonna have to we'll get with them later.
Yeah, the other guy that you really need to talk to is calls himself Holleringer. With the hard knot with details. You could look at that for hours. Still not see all
we did. Details. We stopped and saw him. He's hanging out. We're gonna grab him later.
The doorknob.
There's the doorknob on the side of the bike, like that crystal, like the glass, the big glass doorknob.
Right.
So I might actually. I'm missing a couple of those from my house. So
exactly. I wonder if he came and got them.
Chat him up. So you got all these volunteers. We're gonna have to get with the veterans table downstairs, and because there's a ton everywhere. They're all over the place.
Right.
All all I see is the combat veterans.
They actually spent the night last night. Jason, we built a great friendship through this. We found them on Mike Rose Giving Back. It was a little blurb. I'm like, this would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
And then we became friends, and we've actually ridden out, spent the night, went and toured their shop. But you're only allowed to go in if you're a veteran because you don't understand what they've gone through. So we had special permission to go in, and we gave them a check, and we went to dinner. We had a great time with our group. And so he messaged me earlier this year. He's like, hey, and I'd always offer him. I said, hey, I've got 2 rooms. You guys ever need to stay? So last night, they stayed. So I had 2 guys in the house. So,
Nice.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are so in tune with the veterans groups, and you do so much more. So the show, the show is completely free. Garage Brewery. It's always in January, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All the ones, it's always late January.
Late January or first week February.
Well, and it's kind of become with other builders that I've talked to. It's kind of the show that starts the entire season.
Cafe Racer.
Cincinnati Cafe Racer.
Anybody.
Yep. We get our emails to that. And
all right, we'll go be a busy man.
All right, I gotta go.
You guys have fun today.
All
right, thanks.
Hanging out with us.
Yep. Gotta go open the show.
See y'all.
All right, good luck. Let's just randomly stroll through the bikes.
All right.
But so the first bike you're going to pull up, I'm pretty sure, is Matt Clark's insane 750 Commando. So kudos for Matt. What did he get? He got
he got third place.
Third place, Garage Brew.
Garage Custom.
Garage Custom. Okay.
Third place, Garage Custom. So,
if you haven't seen this bike, do yourself a favor.
Wow.
I mean, get to this bike, love this bike, caress this bike if you have to. Well, Matt might like that, but it is absolutely exquisite. I love this bike. I've seen Matt on this bike a few times, and in a couple of long, 100-mile rides. This thing will go through its paces when it needs to.
It's a classic. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's a 73 Norton Commando 850 Roadster. And built by Matt Clark. He's from Illinois.
It's an 850. I keep saying 750.
No, it's an 850.
It's an 850. I'm wrong again.
So
that's fine.
I
need to study up.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic bike. The aluminum tank to me is just classic cafe racer. Now, I mean, if you're going to talk classic cafe racer, we're definitely not talking a 70s model. We're talking more of a in early 60s, late 50s, early 60s model. But this is done in that classic style with the aluminum tank. The seat is just a traditional cafe racer style seat. Now here's what I love. I'm a polished guy. I love polish.
God. Here we go with the polish again.
And I've heard so many people say, "Oh, we do get rid of polish, get rid of chrome, blah blah blah." No, don't. I mean, look, I know how much time it takes to polish a side cover. Okay, I do it all the
detail,
time.
The detail, effort in this machine is beautiful.
The effort. Anybody can send their stuff out to get powder coated, and it looks decent. I've done that too. I've powder coated a lot of stuff in my time. But the polishing, to me, is dedication.
You and your knob polishing is ridiculous.
I'll polish any knob anybody sends to me and pays me to polish. I'll polish their knobs. I will polish your knobs for a fee. But the chrome fender, I mean, on the front, it just screams classic cafe racer.
I mean, yeah, and if you've ever get the chance to see this bike, in action on the road,
now you rode with him, didn't you? You rode with him while he was riding that bike.
I've been on several rides with Matt. He really, did this bike up right.
The side covers.
He's had to repair it on rides. He's done things like broken cables and lost foot pegs, I think, at one ride. But he manages to keep it all together like just exquisitely. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, if you're going to be the owner of a '73 Commando, you are dedicated.
You better be ready if you're not, because it will. Let's put your relationship to the test.
So, what were some of the other favorite bikes that you saw out there?
I mean, the show was so, like I say, dense and deep. The show was very, very deep. There was a lot to see, but hands down, I make no secret of the fact that my favorites, absolutely hands down favorites, were the two near cars. With the two fantastic gentlemen who we got to talk to for a little while.
Let's go ahead and cut to that interview. We actually interviewed them at the show. We found a little corner that was a little quieter, and
there were two near cars, 1923. I don't know if there's a regular edition, and there was a C model, which is specific to. I think it was specific to England, but it was the four.
The C model, I think he said, was specific to England.
Right, but it was instead of being a two-stroke, it was actually a four-stroke motor, I think.
Yeah, well, let's
anyway.
Let's cut to the interview. I'll cut the interview in here, and we'll listen to our favorite towns.
Nice. There you go. So we grabbed you guys because you have not one, but two near cars, and you have 3 motorcycle cannonballs between the two of you. Let's talk about what years and go with it.
Yeah. So, Bob did the first one on his Nera car in 2014?
2014 was the first one with the little Syracuse, one built in Syracuse, New York, 2-stroke motor. Yep.
Okay. What year is yours?
1923.
1923. All right, so we're talking 100 years.
This is Betty White. I've nicknamed this bike Betty White.
Betty White. I love that.
I don't think I had a name for it. I may go.
Yeah, Betty White. So take Miss Betty White around the block with us. All right. So you started out. You're running, doing the Cannonball. What year? Yeah. What do you have?
I did. Well, so Bob ran that bike in the Cannonball 2014, and I ran it in 2018.
2018.
Yeah. And Bob split it duties on riding it with Brian, our friend Rob's friend Brian, in 14.
And I rode a Henderson in 16. I split with him on riding a Henderson.
All right. For those who don't know, describe the Cannonball. Some people may not know what the Cannonball is.
Well, I guess you got to go back and think about where the name came from, and it was Irwin Cannonball Baker. He was a really crazy athletic guy at the turn of the 1900s that found out he had a lot of endurance, and he rode motorcycles. And at one time, one of the stories goes, one of the newsmen said, "You're faster than the Cannonball train that went through Indiana." And he did. He managed to do the city quicker, and he got the name Cannonball. Irwin made it 2 separate words, cannon, space, ball. But
okay.
And he copyrighted it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And his thing was doing coast-to-coast runs, which he would get sponsorship for, basically. He would set records going coast-to-coast on motorcycles and cars, too, I think.
And trucks.
And trucks.
He rode a Chevy water truck filled it with seawater in the Atlantic. 4 days later, he's dumping in the Pacific with like 40 minutes of sleep from driving coast to coast with no roads. And
this is in the early 1900s before the CCC built any roads anywhere. There were no roads.
Plowed fields.
Right.
Plowed fields is a pretty good description of what was between city to city.
Right.
So take us back, like describe the near car for the people that are listening, all 8 of us or 12 of us or whatever there is. What makes the near car so unique? It has a specific motor, specific clutch, turn of the century. I mean, yes, we can spend hours.
So you tell them why it's a near car, but not a car.
It's like a scooter. It was designed for people who were not really motorcycle enthusiasts. You know, it was designed to be easy to use, cheap, light, low power, low speed, and it's kind of shaped like a scooter.
Right, it's got the big like swooping fender on the front, almost like bicycle type wheels.
Yep. It's got
the big, not quite banana seat that I call it, but you might call it a wide
tractor
bottom
seat. Yeah.
Tractor seat. Yeah, that's
I call
a good
it
one.
wide bottom grill seats, but it's all right. Wide bottom grill.
Yep.
Just a sort of a spring loaded seat. It's very.
That's one of your suspensions.
Turn of the century.
Yeah.
You know, but they're absolutely
almost steampunk.
Amazing.
It almost looks steampunk.
It's almost steampunk. It's got a small gas tank.
Yeah.
But like, talk about the motor. It's basically a centrifugal motor. It has a. Where's Lewis Meyer?
Yeah.
I mean, he knows about these things. They're beautiful.
It's a really low tech motor. It's designed to run no higher than like 2,400 RPM.
Two-stroke motor.
Two-stroke. That's low RPM.
This one's going up and down intake exhaust on the
and like really basic and very low power, like 1.3 horsepower.
Right.
And he has a dyno at his shop, so he knows.
What you said the clutch is it paper?
Friction clutch. There's a flywheel that goes around transversely, if you will. It's going around in the frame, and then the frame, the bike does. And a drive wheel comes in to touch it against that flywheel, and that drive wheel spins. I call it the jack shaft, which of course translates to the chain, the sprocket and the chain.
A little bit like a snowblower.
Very much.
Okay.
Friction drive is the way to say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The face of the friction wheel that's coming in against the flywheel, that face is paper.
Yeah.
And it's a stack of paper rings held in with a donut held in with steel glides on it.
So when you need a new one, you just run down to Napa.
Yes, you do.
I know, and like a shout out. So we wouldn't have been able to spot these things from a mile away, but our good friend Lewis Meyer, who is a blacksmith in Louisville, owns one of the oldest operating blacksmith shops in the city of Louisville. Actually, he has a near car, and we've seen it multiple times. He loves he loves it. He absolutely loves it. Yeah. But to talk to him and to listen to him talk about it, he's given us our education on near cars. Yeah. So. Yeah. We're kind of a huge fan. Like it's just, but I'm learning them as I go. But like the just the simplicity of it, like the turn of the century. It's, like you said, it's almost steampunk. But
with the hub-centered steering, you might talk about that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of unique stuff about the Nera car. One of them is that the center of gravity is incredibly low, so the steering is very stable. It's got a really unique steering system called hub center that's only been used 2 or 3 times in the history of motorcycles, where it has no forks in the normal sense, and the steering is operated by just a bar on the side, sort of a tie rod kind of a thing. And the wheel just sort of sits on the front swing arm, and it sort of looks separate from anything else on the bike. It's a very odd thing to look at. Right. But it works quite well.
There's a circular bearing inside the hub. That's the hub.
Well, I wish it was a bearing, but it's more like it's just a pin. It just sits on a pin. I wish it had some rolling element bearing.
Loosely considered bearing.
It wobbles more than I would like.
Wobbled. I'll go with that. Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'm just amazed. Like we walked in and like we know there is a near car, but then we see 2. Like,
right.
And they're freshly painted. Well, they've been painted.
Freshly-ish.
Ish. Okay.
Each. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, how were these driving these on this Cannonball?
Yeah.
What was the experience like? A lot of mechanical issues?
Not at all.
So you had a riding partner you could trade out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you were solo.
Yeah.
Did you stop and like take breaks, or like you just?
No more than anybody else, which means that you stop for some food, you stop for gas. But there's about 100 people in the event, and they're all going to the same same locations.
Okay.
Watching the same roll of paper, our GPS we talked about last night, the scroll of paper.
Yeah, you get your directions on a piece of paper with the scrolls on your handlebars because they want you to go on a specific route. They don't want you just making up your own route.
Right.
Okay. And you have to go certain places.
Yeah.
And you have to go like in a certain window of time. But you start early in the morning, usually like 7, and hopefully you're done at like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Right. Okay.
And that's the problem with the little Nericar, my little two-stroker. Its average speed is 20 miles an hour, and you just can't do that mileage in that time.
No.
Right.
Now, if they give you 12 hours at 20 miles an hour, you could do the mileage.
Right.
They don't give you 12 or 13
Right.
hours. No.
Right.
So you got to stop with the trailer. You got to go find the little one.
Yeah.
Take him to the hotel. He starts early next morning.
Yeah.
Go find him in the afternoon.
Right. You said that it was at full throttle for how many hours?
Exactly.
The whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. You need to think about that. Here's machinery that's nearly 100 years old. We think it's the original piston and ring and crankshaft.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Cleaned it up, spec'd them, honed them, and said, let's go with it. And put it together, and that has run full throttle for 4,000 miles. Full throttle race condition, in the hills, in the heats.
Yeah.
And I question, can anybody think of another vehicle that could run flat to the floor for 4,000 miles?
Yeah.
I don't think my new GMC truck would hold together.
No.
Flat to the floor for 4,000 miles.
No, the Lexus won't do that. If anybody knows me and knows my Lexus, I hope it explodes.
Yeah, right.
You might try that.
But it's a Toyota. It's not going to explode.
I'm driving it into the river. I really am fighting driving that car into the river. So, all right. So let's talk just because I've heard from Lewis here recently, and he said, so yours is a C model.
C model, yeah.
Right. And so yours is
a B model.
A B model.
Syracuse.
Okay. So can you go work us through like the differences between the two models?
Yeah. The big difference was the two-stroke versus four-stroke. Well,
Okay.
they both had two strokes at first. They had a smaller engine, A and B, I guess, only in America. An A, and then mine is the B because by 1923, 1 year into it, they got up to 255 cc. And that was the big engine for America.
Yeah.
And they kept that in. Now, they were doing the same thing in England, but they went A, B, C. Yeah. And by the time they went to C, they brought the Blackburn engine in that Ben has talked about.
The C model is unique to the English version.
Yeah.
They only sold those in England. It has a totally different engine, totally different gearbox, and makes a lot more power. So it'll cruise at like 40 the way I've got it geared.
That's not too bad.
That's a lot more power.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Oh,
He was passing. He was definitely passing lots of people in Cannonball in September.
Oh, wow.
Last September.
Oh
Climbing
man,
hills
I'd be
without
so
pushing.
mad. I'd be like,
Wow.
that guy, he
pushing,
just.
he was
Oh, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I mean, they're absolutely beautiful bikes. Absolutely beautiful bikes. If you haven't seen them, they're unique. Like there's just no way to describe them other than.
Well,
unique.
I take some pictures of it and post it
I
up.
have several pictures. The big like swooping front fenders and like the beautiful like you said, almost steampunk sort of like minor helmet headlights.
And you all attached some googly eyes to it.
There's some googly eyes on the.
That was the Syracuse model. Yeah. Well, we had the big 12-volt 12-volt DC lights, very good headlights on LEDs.
Yeah.
And we said, what are we going to do with those two lights on the little bugger? That's the name of it, the little bugger. And we said, Google eyes. And then make them move. So they do move as it's
Oh
going
my
down
God,
the
it's
road.
hilarious.
Sweet. Oh, now I gotta see the googly eyes.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, how do we find you guys? Is there any video or like audio or anything for the Cannonball? Like, how do we find you guys online? Like, well,
I mean, the Cannonball website has something, I assume, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah. If they archived any of it, there was a very good interview in the 2014. If you look that far back.
Okay.
And the guy's name was Beaner, and that's not derogatory.
That's not Beaner that we know, is it?
BENRD, Beaner.
B-nerd.
Okay. Yeah, not a
Totally
hippie that wears a
Well,
the top hat with the weird
top hat.
Yeah.
The purple motor?
No, different guy.
Okay, different guy. But it happens to be archived. That's a good piece.
Okay.
So just Motorcycle Cannonball, is it
2014.
2014,
yeah.
I'm sure there's a Facebook page now. There's an Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Personally, I gotta know. How do I get one of these sweet jerseys that you have on?
Oh, easy.
I mean, like the Stitch letters, the whole 9 yards, like total, like old school. Like if I went to Notre Dame and like needed a hoodie, like or a sweatshirt.
Are they sold out?
Can I?
I don't know.
Does this? Can I contribute to the Cannonball fund? Like, can I just get
go to Motorcycle Cannonball.
The Motorcycle Cannonball website.
Motorcyclecannonball.com. Look under merchandise.
All right. No, totally. I gotta have
one.
Though
we had to buy these retail. We're not like involved in the.
No.
Sorry to say.
No, totally fine. But I'm like, now
Those
I
are
want
cool.
one.
Yeah, I gotta have
cool.
one of these.
Like, I gotta have one.
Oh yeah, I love.
Well, I like to ton up stuff too, but I'm not gonna trade.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, it takes a bit, but these are still warm. We just got them good. Anyway, so hopefully today we will see Lewis Meyer. I really hope, man.
Lewis, I think, is coming down here just to see these.
Just to see these two. So we've got a ton of pictures. Yeah. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us.
For sure. Thank you very much for letting us talk to you.
I mean, this is. I'm serious. Like
these are my favorite bikes.
These are
my favorite bikes, hands down.
Voted for us
because they're so rare. They're so rare. They're so hard to find. So hard to see. If you haven't seen one, look them up online. Google them. Everybody's got the Google.
And whoever built that big chopper is going to be pissed when you.
The last point here is Ben is probably going to run in 2023.
Oh, nice.
Hawk to Los Angeles.
Oh, man, awesome.
Can we
folks?
Is there like live feed video, something? Can we like cheer you on? Like, how do we?
Can
we show up?
The Cannonball, Facebook and Instagram and their website does a bunch of stuff like that. They'll broadcast the start of every day live and things like that. So
we'll have to go do a podcast from there too.
That is going to be awesome.
Number 34, that'll be Ben.
Yeah,
awesome.
34, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And we might be up in late June, in Chicago. We've been invited just recently out here. There's a very big bike show, vintage bike show downtown, late June.
Motorblot.
Motorblot?
That's it.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Oh, we'll be there.
Yeah, we're at Motorblot.
I don't know whether
I can't commit yet, but I'm gonna see.
We'll definitely be there. We'll definitely be at Motorblot.
Right, beers on us.
And you all go to AMA Vintage Days?
No, sadly.
What?
I know I should.
Yeah.
That's Mid-Ohio.
You got to come.
See, we're coming from Burlington, Vermont, and all.
Oh, it's well.
I've been there.
Oh, okay.
I know.
It's worth the trip.
I know.
Because at AMA, you're looking at the official. I guess I would be.
You're a burnout box technician.
I'm a burnout box technician, but I'm actually like first mate because the captain
first
is there.
Mate, yeah.
The legendary captain Andrew is going to be there, and I am the first mate. Yeah. I am the burnout box safety technician. So if you're in the campground area and you come to Mid-Ohio,
I would love to see in your car doing burnout. And then we'll come back and keep moving forward.
There were 3 motorcycle cannonballs between those two bikes. Hands down, the most amazing thing ever.
All right, let's hear that interview. All right. And
but let's get back to the list.
All right, so
what's next?
Here's a bike that I thought was pretty interesting. Now it was pretty dense with Harley Davidsons.
There were a lot
of Harleys there, and whether you're a Harley fan or not, I can appreciate the bikes.
Is this the knuckle pan? The pan knuckle?
This is the XLH. This is the 78 XLH 1000. Just a fantastic. This is an AMF Harley, so I believe the XLH was the bike that
I am not versed in Harleys.
That Dwayne Allman died on. Now, my other job is teaching the history of rock and roll,
right?
But it didn't look anything like this.
You've already outsourced me here because I'm really not up on my history of Harleys. They're beautiful.
I'm not either. But this one in particular really was different. I loved the way that the blue paint had a flat blue paint with a white scallop. It had the ribbed fender in the rear.
Yeah, the matte.
And the microphone, I've seen this done on other bikes before, the microphone taillight. Did you notice that little detail was pretty cool?
Yeah.
And then I also liked the fact that
that's what's grabbing me right now. The cowling around the headlight bucket is just absolutely,
and it has the funkiest
thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it has an integrated, very old school kind of thing where they have the integrated controls or gauges in the actual cowling. Headlight bucket.
The bucket.
Like an old Benelli
the bucket
or
fairing,
like that.
if you will.
Bucket fairing, yeah.
Look at that. Look at that super thin seat pan with the spring.
Exactly.
I mean, this is,
It was very well done, and, I love the elegance of some of the...
the simplistic controls with just that
elegant
simple,
brass.
Yeah, very...
very elegant bike. And it was very classically done. It wasn't done like a chopper. So to me, that was a really interesting bike, and I thought that really stuck out. And the builder of that bike, what was his name? I think I've got it written down here. Barry Congrove of
yep.
Cincinnati. So he's a local guy. Shout out to him for sure. I like that bike a lot.
Man, can we do? Let's just skip it. Let's talk about the Bonneville Racer. I'm very disappointed because we totally didn't get enough time to talk. There was a builder and a rider for the Bonneville Racer.
I didn't realize the racer was there.
Yes, they were both there. I spoke to them early on, and then just the audio and everything just kind of got out of control, and we couldn't really get.
Yeah, that was Jim Gerard, I think was his name.
This thing,
from Texas.
Yeah, this thing is crazy insane. If I remember correctly, the rider I think is like 79. Like he's and he still is racing this thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's the 750. Okay, yeah, the Bonneville Special.
And this was a historic bike too, wasn't it?
Full race bike.
Yeah, I believe I had some more information on this bike. Let me look it up here.
Yeah, where's your?
Yeah,
the plate. Here we go. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was a 55 Triumph speed record holder. So when we talk about classic Triumphs, this is a classic Triumph. And let's see, they said it was built in 1995 by Big D Cycle. So that was the original kind of build of this bike. And it was built to compete, literally to compete at Bonneville. And in his description, in his placard, he had all the specifications and stuff like that. So it was really built to race. And it says in 2021 the bike was taken to El Mirage, and Skip set a gas record of 115 miles an hour minimum, which that's crazy for a 55. And then here's the kicker. Skip and Alps set a record of 128.93 on a fuel record and 129 on a gas record.
Right.
So
129 on a wow. I mean, just wow.
That's correct. On a 1955 Bonneville. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It was a well designed bike too. The clip-ons were down below the.
I mean, it was just kind of a bare bones race bike. It is what it is.
It is.
It's just a flat out.
And it's meant for going in a straight line. It's meant for going in a
speed
straight
racing.
line. And with the I love the way they had dropped the clip-ons below the upper triple tree. But
yeah,
it was,
they always.
But it was literally
down.
dropped all the way to the bottom triple tree.
Yes.
So it was meant to be really, really tucked in there.
Right. So this portly gentleman will not be leaning over that tank.
Right.
Right. As we found out in our last episode, I don't even fit on the RD. We were like, I couldn't. They, touch your chin to the tank. No. This feels
all
like
right. So another couple
nightmare.
of bikes that were there.
The Jawa.
We got to talk Jawa.
Let's talk to the Jawa.
All right, so I'm a huge dirt racing fan, and I love any kind of weirdness that you can throw at me.
I mean,
give me the weirder, the better.
Look at that narrow, super narrow, like just a bicycle rim on the front.
It is.
I mean,
it really is. It's just an amazing bike, and then all the bodywork is actually vinyl that velcros onto the bike,
right?
Which to me was just that's. That's where we're at.
This is insane. I mean, this thing is it's so odd that you just have to love it. It's that cool. It's so small, so tiny. And then, I can't imagine trying to just rip this thing.
Oh, yeah. And
I'd give it a shot, but it is very, very tiny.
And what I loved about this show this year were there was all these racing disciplines, and especially the dirt racers. There was another Jawa that they had like hanging from a pillar. There was a trials bike that was there. The trials bike was cool. And then there was this custom dirt track racer. Do you remember this one?
Oh, this was the one you were totally geeking out because he polished the carb.
Yeah, this was.
It is the weirdest, strangest frame with a gas tank inlaid in the frame,
it's loosely
it slides
based
into this like triangular sort of 3-point.
It's almost like an old if you're an old Schwinn fan, like an old Schwinn Phantom tank kind of deal,
right?
But it's kind of designed a little bit like a dirt track racer, but it had a Suzuki Savage motor in it, which is a thumper. It's a 500cc thumper, single carb, simple as it can be,
with a ginormic velocity stack. You could trip over this thing as you walk past the bike.
The velocity stack was,
but I mean,
crazy.
It was beautifully done. I mean, it was absolutely beautifully done.
It was.
It's
the polished car was just over the top. So but here's the thing. I asked the guy about it. I was like, hey man, I tell you, man, I can tell your attention to detail. You must have taken a lot of time polishing that car. And he said to me, well, I paid somebody to polish it. I'm like, oh, you just broke my heart, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You just broke my heart. You should be doing everything yourself.
You just got stood up on a polishing date. Like that's just what that is.
I can't complain because I polish a lot of stuff for other people too. So it's not that big of a deal. But he had done it where it's somewhat practical. It had a headlight on it,
Yeah.
And it had this trellis fork on it, which is kind of cool. It didn't have much travel, but that's what this was about. It's about being a hardtail, little travel, and going around in a circle real fast.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one of those bikes where the faster you go, the scarier it gets. But the faster you go and the scarier it gets, the faster you want to go.
Exactly.
Like, is that like that's a thing? Because I've done that.
How did oh man, I can't remember the exact quote.
I ripped a
Logan's
little,
got on the back of his jacket. I can't remember the exact quote.
Oh, faster till the thrill of speed. What is it? It's the thrill of speed eliminates the fear of death or something. Something like that.
It's a Hunter S. Thompson quote.
Yeah, and he'll kill me for not knowing it because I've seen that jacket a million times.
All right, let's talk this one. This was Les Miller's twin brother here.
The hodgepodge bike with the doorknob, the crystallized doorknob on the.
Yes, the crystal doorknob as a shifter.
That's a concrete bit right there as a foot peg.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a concrete bit there as a foot peg.
So if you've ever been a fan of like post-apocalyptic bikes, I mean, and it's like a whole subgenre.
I mean, kind of steampunk meets Mad Max. I mean, it really is. Like,
it really is. There's some interesting little small details. Like this was a piece of antler that was.
Yeah, there's an antler
for the shifter.
The shift. Yeah, it's the shift linkage, and then it goes up to
a doorknob.
Yeah, the pivot point is actually a crystallized old school doorknob.
Right, and the old Firestone
the glass knob with the metal insert for the other side of the handle rod, if you will. Right. I'm gonna get my words here in a minute.
Yeah, and then
is this a pocket knife? Go back.
There's a pocket knife.
There is a pocket knife.
I don't even know what it functions as.
I'm not even sure if that's just a hidden pocket knife or what is that.
I'm not sure what that knife is.
I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, and then
now this is another single cylinder thumper. It looks like.
Yeah. This was, and I don't even know what motor this is. What is that even?
I don't even know. This was Hollerin'. What was it? Hollerin' Jer?
Yeah,
that's his bike, right? Yeah, we stopped and talked to him for a few minutes, but it was enough to know that
He's
really.
One of the guys we're going to have to actually go up and interview separately and do a whole interview just.
This thing is crazy, all the detail, and I love that. Like if you go back out, like I love that like the front tire is just a big. Like the front tire is basically the rear tire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that industrial sort of like.
Right. And then if you're really old school, you notice the louvers on the side here. Which
the louvers on the side of the tank are nice.
How do you put louvers on the side of a tank? I don't even get that.
I'm not even sure. The Springer front end is always fun. But is that a? I don't know if I have my terms right. Is it it's not a girder. It's a Springer. But it's hard to tell where it goes in.
But
I'm not even going to attempt to try to break this thing down because it's so just ridiculous.
We're actually going to start a YouTube channel.
There'll be another, there's
going to
have
some footage on there.
This is Tyler and Jared's bike.
So we'll make sure that we link all of our audio with the slideshow so you can see all the different stuff that we're talking about here.
All right, let's go to one of the bikes. Where's the blue BMW? Where's Parker? Is it Parker? Wasn't his name Parker? Just kid out of nowhere.
Yeah,
shows up with this BMW like budget build.
Parker Z PZ.
Yeah, Mr. PZ. Now,
oh my God,
this thing
is not even a
BMW
guy. I am not even a BMW guy with this.
I don't even know how to describe this thing. It's absolutely. What is it? Is it a slash? Go back. I am not good enough to be able to tell.
I'm not even a BMW guy. I really. Man, maybe his description will say something about it here.
I don't know.
I thought I had a picture of his description.
Like he got first place garage.
Yeah.
Custom.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. First,
look at those pipes. Look at the welds in those pipes.
Oh
Will you look
God.
at the incrementation of the? I mean, just the curvature. I mean, he did it really. He did it very respectably.
He said he had these pipes actually built in England, and he was real honest about the entire build. He didn't try to tell people that he did something when he didn't. And that I appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. But his build is so spot on.
It's very simple, but the fenders are very well done. They're very tastefully done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the paint is just beautiful.
It has that faded paint job that all the old BMWs kind of have.
That kind of faded blue.
But his is
on
blue.
The perimeter.
Again, I am not a BMW expert, but this blue was not a factory color, I don't think.
No,
this was not something that BMW ever produced. And again, I am definitely not a BMW expert.
Hang on, what is this, a slash? I can't, I'm not an expert.
I think it's a 7.
Is it a 7 or
a 7?
/5? Where's your plate? Did you get a...
I didn't get a picture of that placard on there yet.
But I mean, he's got the nice spoke wheel front. He's got actually a really good looking set of tires on it for what it is. I mean, the fenders are done nice.
What drew me into this bike, first of all, and I will always defer to wheels because I'm a wheel guy. And for me, when I build a set of custom wheels, what I like to do is alter black and chrome. And what that tells you is that was a hand-built wheel because you can't mask that off. I can't tell you how many quote-unquote custom bikes I've seen that have just powder-coated wheels. They just take the wheel, they pop the bearings out, they take them to a powder coats the entire wheel, regardless of whether they don't rebuild the wheel. If you're going to take the time and effort to do a wheel, do the wheel. And this kid did the wheels. He completely took them apart, had all the parts powder coated. The rim is black. The spokes are chrome. The nipples are chrome, and then the hub was black. So that is literally the very first thing I always look at on a motorcycle. What do the wheels look like? And if you can build wheels, then you have my attention.
Everybody get that? Write that down.
Yeah, if you built your own wheels, you've got my attention. And for me, being an old wheel guy, coming from the bicycle world originally, I've been building wheels for over 35 years. And for me, it's all about the wheels. I am a spoke guy to the core.
Right.
I can appreciate a mag, but I am a spoke guy.
I hands down, I'm a spoke guy. I love the way that they look.
And to me, this
really
showed that he cared about this motorcycle. He cared about this build. He has the matching helmet to go right next to it. The headlight actually had a modern BMW headlight in it, and with a different bezel. I mean, little details like that all over this bike, and it really brought it together in this really classy style.
Right, very tastefully done. I mean, he's what, mid-20s?
He's 26.
Yeah,
26 years old.
I mean, man, the attention to detail is just, fantastic for as being as young as he is.
Right, and we talk about, it's grain. Motorcycles are always in that grain market. The guys that can afford a nice bike usually have, they're in their 50s. They can afford to actually, have these expensive machines. Here's a kid that got this thing dirt cheap, fixed it up, and he could easily sell this bike for $20,000. There's no doubt in my mind if he wanted to.
I mean, it's
a fantastic build.
every part of this motorcycle, every component kind of stands on its own. Like when I look at a machine,
and here's the thing, the only thing that I did not like about this bike, and I was real honest with the kid, are the tires. He went very trendy with kind of a knobby tire with it, and this bike deserves more than a knobby tire.
I think they look good, but I don't know.
Knobby tires it's kowtowing to a trend. Personally, that's what I think. I don't want to bust on anybody. I'm not going to call anybody personally out, but I talked to him about that, and then I walked over to Kenda and introduced him to the rep, and was like, "Hey, you need to send this kid a set of tires. Here, here's his information. Send him some tires. Send him some street tires. Kenda makes a great product. I've used them on lots of different things."
Right.
And I said, you guys need to establish a relationship. So hopefully, Kenda, if you're listening out there, make sure you send Parker some tires for this thing. Get him some good street tires.
Sure. Send us some tires. We'll send them.
Send us some tires.
Send us some tires.
Damn it, Kenda.
I know we need some love on that end.
Yeah, exactly.
What else we got? We have there were so many good bikes at the show.
Here's what I want to talk.
Oh no! Here we go.
I'm going Suzuki.
Red frame Suzuki. The beautiful. It was very well done, very sexy. I mean,
so
it's just. I mean, my favorite is the red. The red frame, absolutely, hands down, is my favorite. With you got the matte. Is it the satin or matte finish red frame?
Satin finish red frame.
Backed with the
satin metallic.
Yeah, with the black fenders and the this thing was badass. I spotted it across the room and I knew we were in trouble.
I'm a Suzuki guy from the very early years, and I built a bike that was very similar to this. It was a Suzuki GS 450, and I have that was the first bike I ever built, and so I have this real kind of soft spot in my heart for Suzukis. And he's produced a red frame with kind of a pearlized white tank, but it's all matte. Really a nice bike. It's a 550. This is a bike that does not get a lot of love out there in the world. It's just one that's overlooked, and that's what I love, is that when somebody takes the time to take a bike that's overlooked and to give this kind of detail to it. Super clean.
Every piece of this thing. I mean, look at the hubs. He separated. You've got the red hub with the spokes. Then you've got the
black rim.
All the black. Yeah, the outer black rim. Every little detail, every bolt, everything's been touched. It's. Absolutely hands down.
Having the black motor with the engine filler being powder coated silver and a silver side case. I mean, for the.
Did he get? Best of show, or he got something.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd been drinking all day, so I really was not too sure.
I'm pretty sure he got like best of show, and then the People's Choice. We got to give a shout out. Was the BMW in the back? It was the crap. I'm totally drawing a blank right now.
I can't remember off the top of my head. There was so much stuff. I do want to talk about this bike, though. This was insane.
What?
Did you see this thing?
I did not. Where was this?
This was the diesel. The
turbo diesel machine that I totally missed. I mean, there were bikes in every little nook and cranny. Like, if you didn't hand walk around and look in every little... kick over every rock at the show. This is probably one of the better garage brews that we've been to.
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah, I really like. There's the turbo on this thing, and intercooler on it. I mean, this had everything, and didn't win anything, which surprised the hell out of me because it is straight up what the show is about, as being garage brewed. Here's another close-up of it. You can see the turbo.
Man, this thing is crazy.
I mean, what an insane motorcycle that was. The turbo, what is that? I wouldn't even call it chopper. That's like an apocalypse bike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, there was a beautiful gray BMW on the stage.
Yeah, that was this one right here. That was the. Let me get it here and get some.
Beautiful restoration. That thing was.
Yeah, this was a complete restoration of a BMW, which, I think is pretty amazing.
Oh,
67 BMW.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful restoration.
And this guy was from Houston, Texas. This was his other bike that he had in there, BMW R6 9S. And really a great bike. Just fantastically done.
Yeah,
I mean, point on restoration.
Every detail, full resto.
Yeah, full restoration. It was an amazing motorcycle. And then let's see.
There's tons. There were tons. This bike was this show was so full of bikes.
Let's see.
We got the Jawa. We got the race bike. Here's the Scrambler.
The Honda Scrambler. There was a great little Honda Scrambler there that was just.
These are always really cool. Fun. Like they're just rippers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're just fun little rippers. Was that the 350?
I believe that is
the 350F. Yeah, 73 350.
Yeah, CB350F. Yeah, so that was the 4-carb.
Those are fun.
Oh yeah.
Those are tons of fun. They're just, I don't know. Yeah, and I mean it's nicely done. The tires are correct. I mean the tires are nice. The pipes are fantastic.
I would love to go rip that around.
The hot pipes are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if you're not in love with those pipes, there's something wrong
go rip that bad boy all over the place. So let's see.
Ripping them like just all over.
What other ones did we see? There were the
I don't even
race
know.
Bike.
There was such a long day. We saw so many bikes.
So many bikes. Oh, here's one that I really liked. This was the Honda Super Sport. Remember
yes,
this one?
I remember this. Yeah, single-sided swing arm.
Single-sided swing arm, that is off of what was it, VFR or something? I forget. It's a pretty common. It's a pretty common.
It looks
mod.
like the VFR. Yeah, it looks
it's
like
a pretty
the VFR
common mod
wheel.
that these super sport guys are doing. But it was very well
that looks like
monoshock.
Yeah,
it really was a nice look. And one of the things that I've always I'm kind of a stickler about are again wheels. And this wheel that he had on there, the wheels didn't match, but they were close enough that you didn't really notice it. They were both mags.
I don't mind those mags. That VFR mag that has a nice look to it.
Right, right.
It makes that single-sided swing arm come together. It
does.
It's a wheel that specifically goes with that, and that's why they do that.
Here were the details on it. The Honda VFR modern front
750F Super Sport
CBR 1000 front end on it, so inverted front end. It really a great little bike, and again another Ohio guy, and that's what I love seeing here is that there's so many good just local Midwestern people that are. And you can see how many pictures I took of this thing, man. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was just a very well executed build, and I've seen other 750s done that way, but this one was very well executed. And then one other one that I want to talk about here, we can't leave without talking two strokes.
Yep, of course.
There was a Yamaha there, a Yamaha two stroke, done in blue and white. This was built by a guy named Martin Burnett. Is 82 Yamaha RD350 LC, and he came all the way from Florida for this thing. And it was, it was really a bike that was very nostalgic for me, because I remember seeing these things ripping around back in the day, and it really was a cool bike. Very well done. The paint was spot on. And it was kind of a retro mod. It was not something that was, we're going to keep it, pure or anything like that. In fact, it almost, and I hate to even say this, kind of reminds me of Bosuzuku style.
No!
If it would have had like the big fairing on it,
oh man,
it'd be very Bosuzuku. I'm a Bosuzuku guy, man. I like Bosuzuku. I don't care what anybody says. I like Bosuzuku.
I'm kind of a fan. I'm kind of a fan. I'm not gonna lie. When you do actually see one, they're pretty. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
Wicked.
They're pretty wicked. Yeah, for sure.
Oh man.
Other favorite bikes you had there, man? Anything else that you saw that you really?
We did the Triumph race bike. Really, there was a beautiful Indian though.
Oh, the Indian! Oh my God, the Indian! So the Indian, this was under the 41. Pro Custom category, 1941 Indian Scout Bobber, built by Larry Jeffers, and this is a Cincinnati, Ohio bike. Again, more local guys. The Cincinnati scene has such a great. Thing going on up there.
Yeah, they have a huge following up there.
Yeah, it was such a great bike. I was glad to see it come out. All right, anything else we can think of? There were some weird choppers there. I don't know what the deal was.
There was the big chopper in the middle, and then there was another like sort of chopper on the far end, but it was like. Yeah, that was the one that was like the half knuckle, half pan. Sort of monster.
I wasn't. I'm not much of a chopper guy, to tell you the truth.
I didn't get a chance to like run over and disassemble it, look at it very much. Honestly.
Yeah. There was one more bike. Let me see if I can find the info on this thing real quick. I thought I'd taken a picture of it. A little bitty blue bike. That was just weird, and I'm not even sure what model of bike it is. I thought I had another picture of it somewhere, but I guess I don't. But it was like a 100, and it really just shows a variety of bikes that were at this show, a little bit of everything. All right, well, I'm glad, and we'll definitely check these interviews out. We've got the 2 interviews, and I'll kind of intermingle all this, but yeah. Garage Brewed, 2022. Hey, thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want to ride motorcycles,
buy new.
If you want to ride vintage,
buy two.
Thanks for joining us for the Louisville Vintage Motorworks podcast. Special thanks to Steepland String Band and all those who made our show possible. watch for deer, and we'll see you next time.